This is the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on November the 8th, 2012. It's a Thursday. Normally we tape on Friday, but Harold has a business day tomorrow, so we're taping a day early. Our time is 8:43 Mountain, 10:43 Eastern. Radio show runs AM 640 in Toronto, QR 77 in Calgary, 630 CHED in Edmonton. If you ever miss a radio show, they are archived on Harold's websites, rarecoloreddiamonds.com and HESradio.com. We have a free podcast through iTunes. Put iTunes on your smartphone or on your computer, and you can take our radio show anywhere you go. Little housekeeping before we get into the show. Of course, in Calgary, it's the Western semifinal this weekend, and I believe the Stamps are going to beat Saskatchewan. But if the Stamps win, our radio show will be on at 11 a.m. next week. If they lose, which we don't think they're going to, it will run at 1 o'clock. Now in Edmonton, the Eskimos are playing in Toronto in the Eastern semifinal, and at this point we do not know when we're going to be on. We will let you know as the week progresses. Don't forget, coming up in the week ahead, Worldwide Precious Metals, the company that Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in gold, silver, platinum, palladium, going to be in Calgary. And you can call them, you can email them. They're there for a meet and greet, no obligation, just an opportunity to meet you and speak about the hard asset markets. And a lot to talk about, Harold, because we had the U.S. presidential election, and thankfully it was decided in one night. It didn't go on for days and days, which was a huge fear. And thankfully as well, there was no chaos because Obama won. I think if Obama had lost, I think we could have seen some chaos. Now, the stock market the next day plummeted, and we're now into a situation where the United States is in a position where they have to start dealing with their problems. And once again, it's complete gridlock in the U.S. government.
You better believe it, Randy. It's a really frightening situation. Everything, and by the way, the embarrassment again of Florida, not even at this particular point on Thursday, as we're taping the show, they haven't even counted all the ballots yet. So Florida was supposed to be a big swing state, and evidently it really didn't matter. So we all know at this particular point that the elections are over. Obama did win. There was tremendous volatility in the market the next day. The stock market dropped 340 points. The day before the elections, gold was up over $30. Silver was up $1 on the day. The next day after the elections, the markets fell heavily, but then gold and silver came back and finished strong at the end of the day. The oil market fell off heavily because of what's happening in Europe, but again, over the long term, I'm extremely bullish on oil, and I think oil is going substantially higher than where it is right now. Now that President Obama is reelected, we really know what we need to do. There's really no change from what our game plan was when he was president the first 4 years. We know that there's going to be a lot of printing of money. Quantitative easing 3 is supposed to be $1 trillion print, so $1 trillion added. And again, if they don't do that, the stock market is going to plummet by at least 20 or 30%. So they need to do that in order to get the economy somewhat going and to put the money back into the economy to see if they can create new jobs and somehow help the middle class. I personally don't see how that is going to happen. Without the real estate market getting strong again and without jobs coming, there's just no chance that the middle class is going to recover. And if the middle class doesn't recover, there's no chance of recovering in the U.S. whatsoever. So, again, he certainly has his hands full, but the bottom line is that we know the same scenario is going to continue. Heavy spending. They're predicting that the deficit will climb from $16 trillion that it's at right now to $20 trillion. So again, you know, the cuts that they're talking about, I just don't see how that's really going to even make a dent in the tremendous spending. Obviously, if they're going to do quantitative easing 3 for $1 trillion, that's going to bring, you know, up to $17 trillion at that point and counting. So again, really nothing much is going to change. There's a lot of printing of money. That's going to be very inflationary. It's going to reduce the value of the dollar. And the big problem right now that everybody's looking at is the fiscal cliff. And we've talked about that for the last few shows, and that's coming up on December the 31st. They have to make a decision as to what they're going to do as far as the capital gains taxes go. And if they do go back, and really raise the capital gains from basically 15% that it's at right now, and if they double that, that could cause the stock market to sell off about 20 to 30%. So again, I know that they're talking about working on that right now, but the bottom line is that again, nothing has changed because of the way that the government is set up. The Democrats hold the presidency and control of the Senate, but the Republicans hold the majority in the House of Representatives. So it's the same scenario as before. Nothing is going to get done unless they decide to work together, which again, I doubt that their egos are going to let that happen. So all in all, again, we continue with the same game plan. We're going to be heavy buyers of physical gold and silver, diamonds, hard assets, because we're going to have massive inflation and we're going to have tremendous volatility in the markets, as we saw the day after the elections and the day before the election. So all in all, again, we're almost done with the seasonal trade in gold and silver. Right now, silver's trading just slightly below the $32 level. I'd like to see it close above $32 2 days in a row. Gold's back over $1,700. It's trading at $1,720 at this particular point, so gold is looking fine. But really what we need to see is gold break over $1,800 and silver break over $38. And that will confirm that we're going to go substantially higher. And I'm very sure that that's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen. We're only $85 or $80 away from gold breaking $1,800, and basically we saw $30 in one day just on Wednesday. So all in all, I have no problems with what gold is doing at this particular point. I think that the tremendous buy is in silver. Again, to be able to buy silver around $32 in that area is a tremendous buy. Now again, is it possible that the market could drift a little bit lower? Yes, it is. But the bottom line is that to be able to buy silver or gold at these levels, I think is a great entry point. And again, you're never going to pick the exact top or bottom of a market. If you're buying physical gold and silver, which is what I'm recommending that you do, you just want to buy and hold it. You want to hold on to it for at least the next 5 years. Because the other thing that we certainly know at this point is that the Federal Reserve is going to keep interest rates down at almost zero for the next 3 to 4 years. That's going to weaken the U.S. dollar, and it's really not going to do anything. It's been that way for a long time, and Japan has done the same thing, and look at the trouble Japan's in. So, again, by keeping interest rates low for the next 3 to 4 years, all it means is that in year 5 and 6, they're going to have to raise interest rates to strengthen the dollar to fight inflation, just like we did in 1979 and 80 when the exact same thing happened. But ultimately, by 1982, interest rates went all the way up to 22%. I believe we're going to have the same scenario happen again, so be prepared for that. Again, if you don't learn from history, history tends to repeat itself. I love the gold and silver markets at these levels. Again, it could drift a little bit lower, but all in all, we do expect a very strong rally going into next year in gold and silver as we move into the seasonal trades in November, December, January, and February, which are for the strongest months for gold and silver. We still have the sovereign debt situation in Europe. That's really not getting any better. And the fact is that when you look at the whole world as a financial mess at this particular point, I just don't see anybody who's going to get through this unscathed. You still have the same scenarios in Europe. We still have the same scenarios in the United States, $16 trillion, soon to be $20 trillion. Heavy unemployment and a very, very weak middle class and a real estate market that I really don't believe is going to make the moves that some people say it's going to. So all in all, we have those scenarios, but in my opinion, there's two situations that could be dire. One is a very short-term situation, again, which is this fiscal cliff, that if they don't do something with the Bush tax credits and cuts at the end of the year, you're going to see the stock market fall heavily, even if they do come out with quantitative easing 3. But I do believe that the situation is severe severe enough that they are going to address it and do something as far as raising the capital gains tax, but probably not double or tripling it like they were talking about. The other situation to me is the most frightening of all. It's the derivatives market. We've talked about this for years and years now, and it's one of the reasons that Lehman went out of business. Most of the banks and the brokerage firms on Wall Street use derivatives. Derivatives are a very sophisticated, very difficult market to understand, and the scary thing about it is two things. One, that it's unregulated, and two, it's in the quadrillions of dollars. It's bigger than anything out there, and it could absolutely destroy the financial system. You see, in 2008, when Lehman Brothers went out of business, why would that have been such a big deal? But once they started to unwind these derivatives positions, it caused the whole financial market to almost collapse. In fact, there was almost a $4.5 trillion run on the money market funds because of that exact situation. So now we started to see scenarios where, again, these derivatives are starting to try to unwind, and it's causing massive problems. Again, I don't think that there's very few people that understand this derivatives market, and again, the fact that it's unregulated and the biggest market in the world, it could really hurt the financial system. So if you think that the volatility in the markets that we saw this week are strong, just wait and see what happens as some of these other derivatives start to unwind. It's a frightening situation. And basically what this all means is, what does a small investor do? You know, we're not the Warren Buffetts and the billionaires of the world. We're hardworking Canadians that have had some success and put some money away. But we deserve to make the right moves to protect what we have, and there's no doubt in my mind, with all this volatility going on, what we need to do is we need to be very, very conservative. We need not to take unnecessary risks and speculate, because one bad move can wipe you out. So the fact is that there are certain assets that will do well during these particular times for the next 5 to 10 years, as we're going to start to go through inflation in year 5 and 6. So basically, gold and silver are a no-brainer. Back in 1990, when the U.S. stock market was strong, when the real estate market was strong, and the overall economy was great, gold was at $250. Now we have $1,700 and change. Doesn't that tell us something? It definitely tells us that there's issues, and there's a reason why gold and silver are making these type of moves. So there's no doubt in my mind that with upcoming inflation, weak currencies, currency devaluation, sovereign debt, again, these very frightening derivatives markets, and the fiscal cliff that is coming up at the end of the year, you need to make some adjustments to your portfolio. Number one, you definitely want to lighten up on the stock market. This stock market could plummet, and again, it's so volatile at this point. We saw 340 points down on Wednesday, and then the market opened higher today, but is now starting to drop off. We could see a repeat of 2008, where the Dow went from 14,000 down to 6,500 and wiped out so many people. Why in the world do we want to put ourselves back into that type of situation when all you need to do is put your account into cash? At this point, you're better off to be safe than sorry till things tend to work themselves out and there's a clearer direction as to what's really going to happen. But again, to risk all of your hard-earned money at this point and being in stocks, in my opinion, is not a prudent move. I'd much rather be out of the market in cash and not worry about losing all my money than worry about not making a return on my investment at this point, which is almost impossible to do anyways. With interest rates so low, you can't make your money putting it in the bank, and basically you put it into the stock market and you got a chance of losing all of it. So those are not options as far as my clients go, because again, we're extremely conservative and we just don't take those type of risks. You need to own some physical gold, some physical silver, things that you own outright that are not mortgage to the hill type of thing like real estate. So you need to own those because, again, gold has gone from $250 to $1,900 for all the reasons that we're talking about on the radio show, and this has happened over the last decade. The same scenario with silver, from $4 all the way up to $50. pulled back to 26. It's back up to 32. These are volatile markets. However, they are the markets that you need to be in order to hedge against the inflation that's coming. There's very few assets that will hedge you against inflation. And when inflation hits, if you're not prepared for it, it's not going to do you any good. You're just going to be chasing markets and losing all your money. We need to do these things well before the problem is at hand. We're going to talk about on the second half of the show, but the diamond market is on fire and one of the best hedges against inflation also. So again, what I believe the game plan is going forward is to own the right assets, to own physical gold and silver and diamonds, to reduce your risk in stocks and paper assets, and to keep some cash on hand. Even though you're not going to make money on cash, you're not going to make any return on it, it's still going to give you the opportunity and the peace of mind to have something put away, and if an opportunity does come up, you have the cash to take advantage of it. You never invest yourself 100%. In fact, that would be a problem at this particular point. You don't put all of your money into gold, you don't put all of your money into silver, and you don't put all of your money into diamonds. You put some into each one, and you diversify, and that will help you get through these difficult times. And then if we're right, and we do see interest rates go back up to 10, 15, 20%, which is very, very possible, the money that you made during that inflation run is going to go into the bank where you're going to get a return from it. Because let's face it, you cannot retire if you just keep your money in an RSP and if you keep it in the bank, because there's no returns on those anymore. So, again, the idea is to be very prudent, to be very conservative, not to take unnecessary risks. Again, because there is no change whatsoever in the U.S. government at this point due to the elections, nothing has changed as far as we're concerned. In actual fact, the next 4 years could be very, very, very tough. Again, we realize that this is more of a socialist situation where the government gets involved in our lives in a big way type of thing, but all in all, I just don't think a lot is going to get done. And with the way that, the Democrats and the Republicans fight with each other, I just don't see that they're going to work towards, the better goal, which is the goal for the people to do better. So, again, we're going to see 4 years of extreme market conditions, and we need to be on top of everything and be sharp so we don't have any setbacks financially. I like the way things have headed for us for the last 4 years. Again, we made money in metals and we've made a lot of money in diamonds, and we haven't lost much in the stock market. So myself personally, I have zero in paper assets at all. Everything's paid off. There's no mortgages, there's no stocks, there's no bonds, there's no nothing like that, no RSPs or anything. Because again, those are not the way to go at this point. It may have been the way in the 90s, but it is not the way to go at this particular point. And every market has its time. Stock market will have its time again, but it's just not going to be for a little while yet. So again, gold, silver, physical, diamonds, cash, and no risks in the market, and we're going to get through these difficult times, and we're actually going to do very well in the onset.
Okay, so what do you do? Harold's recommending you invest in gold and silver. You speak with Worldwide Precious Metals, the company he has been recommending for over 10 years. They're going to be in Calgary. And, in fact, they're going to be in Calgary the week of November the 12th. And if you would like to meet them, no obligation, sit down and have them talk to you about investing in hard assets. Let them educate you. They are the experts. The experts from Worldwide will be in Calgary the week of November the 12th. Connect with them at 1-866-623-2002. The website is wwpmc.com. Obviously, if you're anywhere else in Calgary or Edmonton or Toronto and even anywhere in Canada, around the world for that matter, speak with Worldwide. They're the experts in this very specialized field. 1-866-623-2002. The website is wwpmc.com. Now, history repeats, but not exactly the same. But usually it's a pretty good indicator of the future. And Goldcore out of Ireland said this week, Obama's election means that quantitative easing, ultra-loose monetary policies, and currency debasement are set to continue in the world's number one economy, which is bullish for gold and silver indeed. Also, CNBC interviewed Jim Rogers, and he said investors should prepare for rising prices and more expansionary monetary policy now that President Obama has won re-election. Of course, he said that on election night. He's the co-founder, along with George Soros, of the Quantum Fund. He said he expects Obama's policies to drive up commodities and drive down the dollar as the Federal Reserve moves in to stimulate a stalled economy through debt purchases. And he says market should expect the status quo to remain the same. Now, with Obama winning, it's going to mean more inflation, more money printing, more debt, more spending. And he says he expects to sell U.S. government debt and buy precious metals such as silver and gold. It's not going to be good for me or anybody else. It looks like the money printing is going to run amok, and the spending is going to run amok now. And he says, I have an investment thesis, and it's based on what's happening and not what I would like. And I think that is an excellent, excellent point, Harold. It's not about what you want. It's about what the realism of the situation is. And we have said that for a long, long time. It's not about optimism. It's not about pessimism. It's about realism. And someone like Jim Rogers, who is a billionaire, is realistic, and he's investing based on the realism of the situation. In fact, let's take a look at what happened in the United States during the period that Barack Obama was president the last 4 years. From November of 2008 to November of this year, silver was up 222%, palladium up 184%, gold up 136%, platinum up, we're looking at 87%. And the truth of the matter is, Harold, we have 4 more years. Where will gold and silver go? We think, obviously, substantially higher. In fact, Stephen Lieb makes a very interesting point. One thing that upsets me, and I'm in this business to help people, is when the cusp of the baby boomers are retiring and you see so many of the financial advisors out there telling them put their money in bond funds. Gold is not even considered. But putting money into bond funds is crazy. They're putting it in because they think bond funds are safe. In the 70s, the worst investment you could have made was in bonds. You lost an incredible amount of purchasing power by putting money into bonds in the 70s. This time around, the losses could be much greater than that. So remember to put an allocation into physical gold and silver. That way you will at least have a fighting chance in the turbulent years to come. That according to money manager Stephen Lieb. And Harold, we concur 100%. We have about a minute left here in our segment.
You better believe it. And again, those are big numbers for how the commodities markets did during President Obama's first 4 years. So again, we don't see that changing. We see it getting even more severe, and that's why, again, we see gold and silver prices going tremendously higher. So again, stick with it. It's the best assets you can buy, our hard assets. And again, I think that the next 4 to 5 years, our listeners to the radio show are going to come out of this doing extremely well.
Since 2001, gold and silver have resumed their role as a store of wealth, protecting you against the decaying purchasing power of paper money. As Jim Rogers said, they're printing money. Stop the destruction of your paper wealth by investing in hard assets like gold, silver, and diamonds. Turn paper assets into hard assets for real wealth. Speak with Worldwide Precious Metals. They're the experts in this very specialized field. They've been in business over 10 years. 1-866-623-2002. Their website is wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com, 1-866-623-2002. And please remember, if you live in Calgary, this coming week, they are going to be in Calgary. Would love to sit down and meet you, a meet and greet. No obligation, just sit down and educate you about these hard asset markets. Ask them about the gold to silver ratio. Ask them about taking advantage of some of the different programs that they have, and even speak to them about gold and silver seasonality, which is very, very strong right now. Connect with Worldwide, 1-866-623-2002. WWPMC.com is their website. Going to come back and talk about diamonds. The World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on November the 8th, 2012. Our time is 9:10 Mountain, 11:10 Eastern. The radio show runs on AM 640 in Toronto, QR 77 in Calgary, 630 CHED in Edmonton. If you ever miss a radio show, remember they are archived on Herald's websites, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, also HESradio.com. We have a podcast that you can get to via iTunes. iTunes is free. Put it on your computer, have it on your smartphone. You can take our radio show anywhere. It is absolutely 100% free. Before we get into the show, a little housekeeping. Of course, the Stampeders are playing in the Western semifinal against Saskatchewan. If they win next week, we will be on at 11 a.m. in Calgary. If they lose, which we don't think they're going to, they will be on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now for the Edmonton Eskimos, they are playing in the Eastern semifinal against Toronto. And at this point, we do not know exactly when we will be on in Edmonton. Keep listening to 630 CHED. They will let you know. And that's a little housekeeping out of the way as well. Our show is running on the Remembrance Day weekend. And we should obviously take a second as our show is running in Toronto, Edmonton, and Calgary on the Remembrance Day weekend and take a moment and remember those that have served very bravely for Canada. And Harold, obviously we appreciate everything the military does for us in Canada and very, very brave people. That's why we have the freedom that we do today.
You bet, Randy. It's and we wish everybody all the best on that day and to remember, all of our heroes. So it should be a good weekend.
I should mention that we have very exciting news regarding rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The website, that's Harold's website. The featured diamond of the week is a 1.00 carat radiant cut, fancy, vivid, yellow, internally flawless diamond. And you can speak with Harold. You can see the video of the diamond on the website. See, obviously, click the link and see the video via our newsletter. But go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, click on the featured diamond of the week, and check out this beautiful 1 carat radiant cut, fancy, vivid, yellow, internally flawless diamond. And the exciting news is, and this is a first, Denver's first Rare Colored Diamonds investment seminar presented by rarecoloreddiamonds.com and obviously Harold Siegel. And that's going to be Thursday, November the 15th, 2012 from 6:30 to 9 p.m. in Denver. But Harold, good news for those anywhere in the entire world. They will be able to watch this seminar via your website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com.
Exactly. All you need to do this weekend is go on rarecoloreddiamonds.com on the front page of it, and there will be a link that you can tune in and watch the seminar if you so desire. It's going to start at approximately 7 o'clock Mountain Time, so if you're in Toronto or on the East Coast, it's going to start at 9 o'clock. It's going to start at 7 o'clock in Alberta, Denver, in that particular area, and obviously an hour earlier if you're in British Columbia. So very, very excited. This is a series of 9 different seminars that I've been sanctioned to do. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a tremendous show, and in actual fact, it's very exciting because the Ritz-Carlton, which is where it's being held, is very excited about working with us. They're the only 5-diamond hotel in Colorado, and they wanted to be associated with us, and so did the top Lamborghini dealer that happens to be bringing by 3 of the most amazing Lamborghinis to park right outside, and to greet everybody as they come in. So it's going to be a phenomenal night. I hope that all of you can listen, and it's going to be a phenomenal presentation. We're extremely excited about the diamond market. In fact, over the last 7 or 8 years that we've been really broadcasting on the radio show about diamonds, the diamond market has just absolutely exploded. And I'm so excited about it because, again, this is something that we started, in a sense, and brought it to all of our listeners on the radio and in Canada. And our business over the last 7 or 8 years has grown international to a worldwide business. We have clients all over the world, and not only do we have some of the most beautiful and rare investment diamonds ever, we also have H. Siegel Fine Auctions, which is the secondary market to resell these diamonds. Again, it's one thing to be able to buy an asset. It's another thing to be able to resell it. And the fact is that we took 2 years to build this sophisticated website that's exactly what we do. We created the secondary market to resell our clients' diamonds. So we will announce when the next auction is going to be. It's just been so crazy with the way the markets have been going and the seminars and everything that we want to do this next seminar and have it as a real extravaganza. So we've got our inventory together. We're just filming everything, and I will announce very soon when the next auction is going to be. But again, we are the only company that can resell your diamonds for you because we are the only ones that have the secondary market that's credible and sells all over the world. We have clients not only in Canada and the United States, but some of our biggest clients now are in Europe, and due to the fact that their currency happens to be stronger than the U.S. currency at this point, again, it gives them tremendous benefits buying our diamonds, which is phenomenal for our clients. Now, the next 5 to 10 years, we are going to see the price of certain diamonds explode. And that's what we want to make certain that our clients are involved in. First of all, yellow flawless diamonds. We offer the most beautiful yellow flawless diamonds from South Africa. These are mostly 8s, 9s, and 10s out of 10s. They're very beautiful diamonds. These are the diamonds that you truly want to own. They increase by 25% a year. They've never, ever fallen in price because there's so few of them. Supply and demand makes this a tremendous asset, and the demand for these flawless yellows is so big right now, and the supply is extremely small. And if you look on our website, we own most of the high-level yellow flawless diamonds. Is something that I've invested in very heavily, and again, is proven to be a phenomenal investment for my company, but mostly for my clients. Now, I do caution you. There are other companies out there that do carry yellow diamonds that are about half of the price of ours. Be very careful with those because they're a lesser quality diamond. They're from India. They're extremely brittle, and they are not considered investment quality diamonds. In fact, if you put those Indian diamonds beside the South African and South American yellows, you'll see a gigantic difference. In fact, there's a lot of carbon in these yellow Indian diamonds. So, again, with the price of diamonds right now, they're skyrocketing. They're going up in value, not down in value. So, if there's somebody out there that's selling cheap diamonds, again, the fact is that there are no deals on diamonds right now. The prices are going up, and the prices are going to continue to go up over the next 5 to 10 years. Back in 1979 and 80, when we had very high inflation, gold went up, silver went up, but colored diamonds went up 500% in those 2 years. So we're anticipating a very similar price movement in our yellow flawless diamonds, and all you have to do is go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, which is my website. Go to the loose diamonds section, and you will see all of the colors of diamonds that we carry. We carry the yellow flawless diamonds. They are magnificent. We're the largest dealer of Argyle pinks. That is a market that you definitely want to get into because the Argyle mine produces 95% of the world's pink diamonds, and that mine is about to close by 2018, which is only 5 years from now. Give it 2 years for these Argyle pinks to run out, and you're talking about diamonds that can be 8 to 10 times what today's prices are. So you look at yellow flawless diamonds that go up by 25% a year, and you look at these Argyle pinks that go up by 25 to 50% a year, depending on how strong the color is. And then you look at other investments out there, and you see that the stock market is very volatile and is not giving those type of returns. The commodity markets are volatile, and again, we need to have the type of assets put away that are going to help us get through these difficult times, be a strong hedge against inflation, and make us some money. It would be nice to get into an investment, again, that's going to make us some substantial returns over the next 10 years, and the rare colored diamond market is that market. I believe the same thing is true of physical gold and silver. We also love the flawless white market. We really cut about 80% of the flawless white diamonds, the triple X's, which are the triple excellence. You've got to look on our website because we just added 10 new flawless white diamonds. Now, the thing is that there's a fund that operates out of Europe who's a very close friend of mine, and he's the only successful diamond fund ever. Nobody has ever gotten this off the ground except for this very close friend of mine out of Europe. And the regulators have approved it, and what they did approve was flawless round white diamonds between 1 and 5 carats have a very strong track record. In fact, they represent 0.001% of the market. They're ridiculously rare. They're not cheap diamonds, believe me, but they went up 45% last year, and these are the diamonds that are going to be used for the fund that's selling in Europe. Now, they plan on this being a fairly large fund, but there's a limited supply of these type of diamonds. So basically, we feel that the price of these flawless white rounds are going to skyrocket in price, and as this fund eats up most of the diamonds available of this caliber, it's just going to make prices go substantially higher. So when you go to our website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and you look at the yellow diamonds and you look at the pink argyles, which are just, again, amazing, phenomenal investment diamonds and very beautiful, also spend a few minutes on the flawless whites, because there's some diamonds there that could make you an absolute fortune, and over the long run, these diamonds will skyrocket in price as the supply dwindles and dwindles as its fund eats up more and more and more of these diamonds. These flawless whites, yellows and pinks, are going to be the major focus of my seminar in Denver coming up on the 15th. So again, be sure that you watch that, because you'll get a lot of information. It's a very strong seminar that's going to take you from A to Z. It's going to go from what a diamond is to how do you read a GIO report to which cuts and clarities, are the strongest and make you the most money. There's a whole section on yellows, and there's so much news that just came out recently on the yellow diamond market. First of all, the biggest news was our diamond ring that one of our clients, that we made for one of our clients, consisting of 3 ridiculously rare, vivid, yellow, flawless, emerald cut diamonds, with the main diamond being over 4 carats, 4.25 carats. This magnificent ring that we actually produced for our clients was written up in 357 news agencies around the world. So if you don't think the diamonds are in the news, they are. 357 news agencies picked up on this spectacular ring that we made for one of our top clients. On top of that, on the very same day, and if you don't think that this was all coordinated, it was, 2 major articles came out in the Wall Street Journal, both on how valuable yellow diamonds are. So again, it's in the news. Ours was the major feature. 357 news agencies picked up on it, and again, the diamond market is just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. The price of these argyle pinks are going to skyrocket the closer we get to the mine closing down. We've seen that happen with blue diamonds, and we're now seeing it with pinks. And again, the prices are just going to get stronger and stronger. We want our clients to make a lot of money on this trade. And again, the argyle pinks, the yellow flawlesses, and the flawless whites are definitely the diamonds that you want to invest in, and get them while they're still reasonable in price. And that's why we also brought these markets to you, because you don't have to spend $1 million or $5 or $10 million on a diamond to make money. In fact, percentage-wise, you're going to make more money on the argyle pinks and the yellow flawlesses and the flawlesses than you would on a red or a blue diamond. So again, this is something that again is not for everybody, because the minimum purchase is $15,000, and then we have diamonds going all the way up from there. Most of our clients invest, starting out in the $20,000 to $50,000 range, or under $100,000, and for $100,000, you can actually get an argyle pink and a yellow flawless or a flawless. So again, we work with our clients very, very closely. We have the most beautiful diamonds, and the diamonds that you need to own in order to take advantage of this tremendous run that's happening right now and going to continue happening in colored diamonds. Don't forget, in 1979 and 80, when everybody was concentrating on inflation, colored diamonds went up 500% in 2 years. That means today, if you bought a yellow flawless diamond for $20,000, it could be $100,000 in the next 5 years if we have the inflation that we feel we're going to have. So, again, it gives you an opportunity not only to do well during these extremely difficult times, but also to own an asset that's portable private wealth. The Europeans call it real estate in your pocket, and again, it's an asset that you can hold on to, and if, God forbid, you need it to start all over again or go to another country or whatever, this is the asset that could be sold for you in those currencies. So, again, I've never been more excited about what's happening in the diamond business because we're one of the big players in the market. And, again, over the last 5 to 7 years, we've developed our business to a very, very friendly business for our clients. We carry the highest quality goods. Are they cheap? Absolutely not. You don't want to own a cheap diamond. You'll never make any money on a cheap diamond today. You want to own the best quality, you want to own the right diamond, and you want to deal with the company that can resell it for you, because what is the point of investing in something that you cannot sell? And that's why we built 8 Seagull Fine Auctions. Again, a very, very close friend of mine has built one of the only diamond fund ever approved, and it's approved in Europe. It's a major, major big deal. And it's going to eat up most of the D-flawless round white diamonds between 1 and 5 carats. If you go on our website and look, you're going to see about 10 brand new diamonds that are round brilliant, D internally flawless, and D flawlesses. And again, these are diamonds that you definitely want to own also. I've never been more excited about this. You know, there's so many things around the world that are problematic. Sovereign debt situations in Europe, $16 to $20 trillion worth of debt in the United States, unemployment, and all these frightening stories of derivatives and fiscal cliffs and everything. It's so confusing and so dangerous. Why even put ourselves in a position like that? Why not just simplify what we're doing? Own some physical gold, own some physical silver, put some diamonds away in your portfolio, give yourself a chance to make some serious money in hard assets in gold, silver, and diamonds, lighten up on your stocks, keep some cash on hand, and not only will we get through these difficult times, but we're going to make an awful lot of money. Again, I'm very, very excited about our situation, and I don't think that most other companies can say that. Because, again, if you're in the stock market and the market dropped 340 points and you've got the fiscal cliff and these derivatives and everything coming up, it's just not where we want to be. So, again, please go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Look at the featured diamond. By the way, these fancy, vivid yellow internally flawlesses that are on our website, there's only 4 of them. It's amongst the most difficult yellow diamonds to get. The vivids that we have are extremely high quality and very, very deep, beautiful vivids. There's a 6.5 carat diamond there that's worth about $1.5 million. That's not for everybody, but there's a 0.5 carat vivid, and then there's a 1 carat, which is the featured diamond this week. And all you have to do is look at the video to see how amazing that diamond looks. So, again, we're going to head into 4 more years to 5 more years of extreme, volatile, difficult, frightening markets. We don't need to be part of that. We can get out of the danger and put ourselves in a very safe place. Physical gold, physical silver, physical diamonds, the yellow flawlesses, the argyle pinks, and the deep flawless whites are going to do tremendously well for us. And again, please tune in if you get a chance. If you're in Alberta, tune in at 7 o'clock. Just go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, my website. There will be a link, and you'll be able to view my seminar. I'm very, very excited to do the seminar. Lamborghini and Ritz-Carlton has partnered up with me, and we're all extremely excited, along with the top high-end magazine called Luxio, out of Denver. It's a phenomenal magazine. These people have become very, very close friends of mine, and they really have embraced our business. And again, this seminar was set up by Luxio magazine, and Ritz-Carlton and Lamborghini has come on board with us. So it's going to be a phenomenal night. My wife is going to be there. My 2 sons are going to be there. There's going to be 100 of the wealthiest families in Colorado, and it's only the start. You'll be able to see these seminars on our website on all the locations that we'll be doing. So, again, we do this so our clients all over the world can learn about the diamond market and see us face to face, as to what we do, even though we're miles apart. So I'm very, very excited. As you can tell, no matter what's happening in the economy, I feel very, very comfortable that my clients and listeners to our radio show are doing the right thing and are going to be okay over the next 5 to 10 years, as others that are going to just sit in paper assets, I think, are going to have a lot of trouble.
So, Harold, it says on the invitation 6:30 to 9 p.m. That is Mountain Time for those in the Eastern Time Zone. Obviously,
add 2 hours, yes.
Yes, add 2 hours. Now, you say that you're going to start at 7 Mountain Time?
Approximately, we're having a cocktail party first, so that's going to happen at around 6:30. Meet everybody. We have, a step and repeat, which is a red carpet. You're going to get to see it's an 8 by 10 foot beautiful background with all my logos of Rare Colored Diamonds and H. Siegel Fine Auctions. There'll be some famous people there taking pictures, and it's going to be a real extravaganza. We really did it up right, and it's very, very exciting to do it. So the actual seminar more than likely will start at around 7:30, but it's all being filmed and it's being streamed live all over the world. And again, most of our clients and listeners will see it.
Go to Harold's website. A 5-diamond evening, Denver's first ever Rare Colored Diamond Investment Seminar presented by RareColoredDiamonds.com. Investment expert Harold Siegel. He's the president of RareColoredDiamonds.com. Thursday, November 15th. From 6:30 until 9 p.m. And obviously go to RareColoredDiamonds.com and be a part of it online anywhere in the world. We should mention, Harold, there's 2 articles in the newsletter, and get our free weekly newsletter from Harold or Worldwide. But there is a picture that I dug up. It's a goblet, and it's full of pink diamonds. And it represents 95% of the world's annual production of pink diamonds. I encourage people to get that picture from Harold. It will blow you away. I found this picture during the week, and I just could not believe it. It is absolutely stunning. So take a look at that article in The Land of the Great Pink Diamond, and the picture of all the pink diamonds in a goblet. As well, Harold, we should touch on that Luxio did an article on RareColoredDiamonds.com. We have that story in our newsletter. There's a link to their website, so people will get an opportunity to read that article. And obviously you're very excited with what's happening in diamonds right now, and we encourage people to take a look at RareColoredDiamonds.com and the featured diamond, the 1-carat radiant cut fancy vivid yellow internally flawless diamond. This is a must-have diamond.
You bet, Randy. I'm glad you brought up that champagne flute full of pink diamonds. It will give everybody an indication as to how tiny this market is. The whole world supply basically doesn't even fill up a champagne glass. That's how tiny this market is. So you can imagine it's one of the most important markets in the diamond world, the pink diamonds. Argyle is written up all the time. We just finished with the Argyle tender, which was a tremendous success, and now you're going to see visibly how many of these pink diamonds actually exist. Also realize that most of the diamonds that, in a large case, that Argyle sells do not come back onto the open market. They're put into rings and jewelry from dealers, and they're just handed down from generation to generation. So, the amount of people that will actually own investment Argyles that they're going to sell after the mine closes is a very, very small number, which is primarily, my clients worldwide. So it's just a tiny market, but I love it that way because, again, it's very easy to sell out. And the fact is that supply and demand is Economics 101. When the demand for something is extremely high and the supplies are low, the prices are always going to go higher. And that's exactly what's happening with Argyle pinks at this time. It's just so exciting. So get the newsletter this week. I'll tell you, with the elections and everything going on, the newsletter is just jammed with information that you need to know because these are very, very confusing and dangerous times. And we want to simplify things for us. We don't want complicated. We don't want derivatives and stocks and bonds and everything that are so volatile and dangerous. We want to be able to get through this difficult time and make some money, and you're going to do that with gold and silver, diamonds. You're going to get through these difficult times, and oil. I love the oil market. Even though it's been extremely volatile, there is no doubt in my mind that there's a shortage of oil, and over the next couple of years, oil will be at 175 to 200. So, again, everything that I believe that we've recommended, I believe it's going to come through. I'm very, very confident in our predictions and what the future is going to bring for our clients.
I agree with Harold. Get the newsletter from Worldwide or from Harold. Connect with Harold, RareColoredDiamonds.com, or call him at 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022, or RareColoredDiamonds.com. Worldwide Precious Metals, the company Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in gold and silver, platinum, palladium. 1-866-623-2002. Their website, wwpmc.com. They're going to be in Calgary this coming week, the week of November the 12th. It's a meet and greet. No obligation. Just an opportunity for you to meet them. They'll be more than happy to talk to you about the hard asset market and pick their brain. Ask them the tough questions. Let them earn your business. Let them help you start a precious metals investment account today. 1-866-623-2002. Call them or go to their website, wwpmc.com, and speak to them about their event in Calgary this coming week. Harold, we have 30 seconds left. A fantastic show. I think one thing that's really going to hit the United States as well is the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. Now this nor'easter is hitting the eastern seaboard, so it's a tough one for the people of the United States. Thanks for another great show.
Thank you, my friend. And, you're 100% right. That storm that's coming, people still don't have power, 100,000 people. It's a terrible thing. Again, our heart goes out to everybody. Have a wonderful weekend and a very, very profitable day.
It is the Remembrance Day weekend, and we do remember. We do not forget. Thank you for your service and sacrifice. RareColoredDiamonds.com. Connect with Harold at 1-800-432-1022. Also, WWPMC.com for worldwide precious metals. Their telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.